Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video to show you all how to save destroyed actors that are in your world. Specifically how to get the actors to basically give their name to an array where they can store themselves and then load them back into the world, staying destroyed so they don't load back in. I'm doing this in a way to where you don't have to manually set each actor's ID. For example, you would have to go into here and be like, okay, actor 1, actor 2, blueprint 1, battery 2, gun 3, medkit 4, stuff like that. We're going to make it to where the actors give their name and then they store themselves in an array and then it loads back later. I could not find any YouTube videos or forums on this stuff, guys. It took me forever to figure out. It took me too much time to figure out. I'm not an expert on Unreal Engine. I just want to make that very clear. This is a method that worked for me. If you guys happen to like it, go ahead and use it. If you'll have a better method you want to let me know about, go ahead and let me know. But I'm just going to jump right into it. Um, so we're going to go into the game instance, and this is the game instance that I created myself. If you don't know how to create a game instance, you can just go anywhere, right click, and we go to blueprint class, and then we're going to go to type in game instance. And you can see it's right there. You can type it in and create one. This is the one I use, this Blue Game Instance Blueprint. That's the one I created, and you can set it up in the project settings. Go to Game Instance, and you can see that this is the one I created. It's set up. So we can exit out of that. And I am using Blueprint interfaces, guys. A lot of methods that I saw on YouTube were using a little bit too much casting for my taste. Not very good practices, not very scalable, and just eating up a lot of data, I noticed. So I'm using Blueprint interfaces in this scenario, guys. If your setup looks a little different, I highly recommend using Blueprint interfaces. But if your project is small enough, your performance will be nothing. I mean, absolutely, you'll be fine. I promise. Casting in itself isn't bad. It's just how it's used. And in my situation, I just don't want to use it because my project is getting a little bigger than I thought it would be. So I'm using interfaces for saving, loading, all that. The only time I cast is for the save game blueprint, so I can get a reference inside the game instance. The save game blueprint is also being created. Once again, if you don't know how to create one, go up to the blueprint class, we type in save game, and you see there's one right here. Select it, and there you go. You'd have one. Name it whatever you want. I named mine save game blueprint. And inside of here, there's no logic. It's just variables, basically like a structure encapsulated into a blueprint. That's how I look at it. And inside of here, I have a player data structure, which is health, ammunition, all that kind of stuff. Here is what we're looking for, the actor IDs. So we would just create a variable, name it whatever you want, actor ID, or items, destroyed actors, whatever you want, and make it a name, okay? And then we are going to make it an array, okay? So with that being said, that's all you have to do in the save game. We're going to go back into the game instance, and then you can see when you want to save the world data, you can see that I have, again, Blueprint interface that is creating, that has a unique array node right here. And as you can see right here, I have the save game data reference, which is up here, okay? And I just basically, saved it up here as a variable, drag it out, get actor IDs, and there you go. And then you would just do add unique, okay? And you just plug in the appropriate nodes or inputs. So right here, again, Blueprint interface, you can see what we have in here: save game data, load game data, get game data. What we're worried about today in this video is the save world data and the load world data, okay? Save world data has the just one input, actor ID. Load world data has actor ID. Not an array, by the way. None of them are an array. But this time the load world data has a couple of booleans, and it's going to be destroyed or unlocked, because this can also work for doors, guys. So we're going to go back into the game instance, and this is all it takes right here, guys. We're just going to get the actor ID, and then we're going to add whatever data that comes from this save world data blueprint interface into into the array as a unique instance. And this is just a string for my sake for debugging. So this is all it takes to save, but who is calling this function? Someone has to put in the data. Someone wants that information. And the way I'm doing this for my example is the battery, okay? I'm going to use a battery as an example. And inside the battery blueprint, you'll see that I'm not actually calling save world data because I'm using blueprint interfaces once again for interaction and to add it to the player's inventory. But I don't want the battery to dictate what the player does with his inventory. I want the player to decide what happens to the player's inventory, obviously. So what I have here is very simple setup of the blueprint interface. It's basically just getting the information from the battery. Basically, I'm just saying, hey, the battery's saying, hey, I was picked up. Here's my information. Do what you want with it. Okay. And that's it. We get the battery pickup amount and the reference to self. And this add battery has a reference to the flashlight battery. Okay. And that's literally just for interaction purposes. That has nothing to do with saving or loading. This is just something I'm letting you know what's happening so no one gets sidetracked. So you also see other actor, but this is literally just a variable that's been, or other actor that has been promoted to a variable. And it's literally just if its other actor is equal to get player character. That's it. There's no cast. You don't have to cast. This does the exact same thing. Okay. So with that being said, who's this calling the function? Save world data. It's the player, okay? Because I want the player to decide if the battery gets destroyed or not. Because I need to check the player's inventory. I don't want to destroy the battery if the player's inventory is full, right? Because then it'll be like, where'd it go? If my battery inventory was full. So we have save world data, and you can see what's happening here. You see add battery event is right here, and that is right here. Okay, this is the information, and that's the information coming out. And you can see that the reference of the battery blueprint, the battery blueprint or the actor is coming out of here, and we're getting the object's name. This is how you get the name of the object, and this is how we are storing it into the array. But you want to see it as like this is the bouncer, right? So this actor is not going to get into the array unless it gives it a valid form of ID, right? And getting the object name is how you do that. And then you can see it comes out as a string, and you can set it to name. You can either take it out and type it to name, or you could just take it and literally just drag it in here, and it'll do the same thing, guys. So with that being said, be very careful with this step, okay? Because there is also a node that says get display name, and this one is will cause you to lose your mind. Really will cause you to pull your hair out. Do not use this one, guys. Use the get object name, not get display name. It even says it that this function should not be used to uniquely identify actors. Okay, so get object name, put it to name, and then give it to the bouncer. Okay, so the bouncer can let him into the club, let him into the array. So back into the game instance, you can see that this information is coming out. This information right here is going in, and then now it is coming back out. And then we are adding it into the array as a unique instance. Okay? Now that's all fine, but how are we loading it? Okay, so the actor is inside in the array. The bouncer let him in. He's in the club. How do we get him out? What do we do with the information? How do we load it back into the world? Well, that's where the load world data function comes in that I created inside of the game instance. And once again, guys, this is a blueprint interface. Go into save game BPI. Here it is, load world data. Okay, so back into the game instance, and you can see what's happening. We are again checking the ID, and we're going to see if the ID that is coming in matches with anything inside of the array. Okay, we're going to see if it's in the array, and if it does contain, if it is in this array, we are going to see if it was destroyed or if it was unlocked, because like I said, it can be used as a door or 4 doors. So if it's in this array, that means it was either one or the other. It was either destroyed or it was unlocked, but we're going to dictate whether it was destroyed or unlocked. Okay, so who's calling this now? So this has to be called. Someone needs to put in this information. Well, the battery can actually do that this time because the battery can get a reference to itself. So we're getting the object name, okay? Once again, because we have to see if it matches, okay? We have to see if it matches, and we are doing this on begin play because we need to load it back in. So we're getting the name. We're going to see if it matches in the array. We see if it's contained in the array, and if it is, we're going to see what happened to it. Was the battery destroyed? And we're going to say yes, it was destroyed. And if it was destroyed, then we're going to destroy it again. But we're going to make sure it's valid first so we don't get any errors. And if it's valid, we're going to destroy it because it's not supposed to be in the world, and then we're going to get a print string that says actors should be destroyed, and that's just for my sake to make sure it worked. And that is pretty much it. Not even joking, that's pretty much it, guys. Kind of embarrassing that it took me this long to figure out, but I seriously could not find anything on this stuff. So this is the method I came up with, guys, and it worked out for me. With that being said, let's go ahead and give you all a demonstration. I think I was able to delete the old save. Yep, the old save's gone. So we're going to go ahead and test this out. So you see the batteries are on the ground. There's 5 of them. So we're going to come over here and we're going to pick it up. And you see it gets added to the array. And I'm going to leave those 2 right there. I'm just going to demonstrate that that they are matching specific names. So we're going to go here, save our game. I don't have anything fancy just yet as far as like notifies, but the game did save. Then we are going to escape, press play again, and then you can see that the actors should be destroyed, which they are. On the top left there was a print string. So now we have 2 left, and we go ahead and pick this one up, and we can just go ahead and pick this one up. And you see that it gets added into the array. And now we can go back into the vending machine, which is my save point, and go save game. Exit out. Escape. You can see that they're here. They want to be in the world, but the loading data is not going to let them. So we're going to hit play again. And then now you can see they're all destroyed, guys. They stay out of the world like they're supposed to. I really hope I can help someone out with this method. I was pulling my hair out trying to figure a decent, simple method. Like I said, online there was just too much dependencies going on, not the best practices that I saw. So that's why you see a lot of Blueprint interfaces on my end, because I just want to minimize casting as much as I can, because my project is getting pretty big. And even if you have a smaller project, I do recommend this just because it scales so well. It doesn't rely too much on dependencies. You can call game instance from, I think, anywhere. And this also works in the level blueprint, guys. This works for actors that doesn't have blueprints. You can do it inside of the level blueprint for like trigger boxes or anything like that. Also works for that. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for hearing me out. If this method works for you guys, I recommend using it. It has not let me down so far. I was able to test some other stuff out, and it's working pretty well. So if you guys happen to know a better method y'all want to tell me about, go ahead and let me know. If y'all happen to know about GUIDs, I do recommend you all look into those as well, because I couldn't get them to, I couldn't figure it out, because they generate like a string of letters and characters for the actors, and you got to be very careful, because I think they can also generate on their own without your knowledge. So it's just, I think they're a little bit more finicky. This is a little more simpler. I'm a very simple person, so this is more for my taste, and it seems to work pretty well, guys, and it scales well. So thank you all for hearing me out on this. Again, I hope I was able to help someone out there, save a little bit of pain, and if I did, that's all I ask. But anyway, you all take care, and I'll see y'all in the next one.